I'm Vadd, and this is how to get started in Elden Ring. This is a beginner's guide. Pick whatever starting class you think is fun. You're not locked out of anything here, so don't worry about your choices. All keepsakes are also obtainable later, so don't worry about your choice here. I often start with the Fanged Imp, Golden Seed, Stone Sword Key, or Lands Between Rune. If you pick the Lands Between Rune, make sure you open up your menu, go into Equipment, and unequip the rune from your equipment menu. That way, you don't accidentally spend it. You'll know you've unequipped it because it is no longer there in the lower left-hand corner. This guide is not going to spoil anything major. Instead, we're going to make an effort to open up some of the map, pick up some of the important items that aren't exactly on the path, that are easy to miss and overlook. We're going to meet some of the various characters of the world who, again, are easy to miss and overlook, and we're going to spend a little bit of time on some of the more obscure mechanics that as a new player you just might not be familiar with. We're not going to be spoiling anything, and we're not going to be speeding things up in a major way. This is going to be majority real-time footage in an effort to make this, easy to follow. Also, there's going to be very light combat. We're really just working on making sure that there's just some things that if you have in your pocket really just make for a better experience, or just some things that if you have in your knowledge bank also make for another experience. If you're trying to get overpowered fast and trying to just break the game with the most busted glitch you can find, this is just not the guide for you. We're going to open up in the Limgrave, and away we go to our first site of grace. These are fast travel points, which is important to know. We're going to touch the grace, not rest at the grace, and we're going to meet our first NPC. Most of these characters have a quest line. It's worth talking to them, and it's important to exhaust their dialogue. That means talk until you're hearing them repeat. They have nothing new to say. There are NPCs that'll have important things that if you don't exhaust their dialogue, you will not encounter. From this first site of grace, we're going to make our way just across here to this second site of grace. There's a big golden ball on a horse. Just go around him. You may have seen your favorite live streamer spend some time fighting this big boy, and the facts are that there's lots of things that are done for entertainment online that realistically are not great investments of time. We're going to be going right past this open world boss, as there's no reason to be fighting them right now. Can we beat them? Yes. Should we? No. We're going to grab the golden rune and get our second site of grace. Again, those golden runes are going into our inventory, so we have an opportunity to get some money in our pocket when we so choose. We're going to pick up whatever's shiny over here because, ooh, shiny. And we're going to meet our first merchant here. Again, we're going to be exhausting all dialogue. If you note here, there's a second level of dialogue hidden in this menu. It says recommendation. So sometimes when we're trying to talk to an NPC, we don't just talk to them. We need to be paying attention to those inner menus as well to exhaust their dialogue. Let's open up the map. You can see here that we can basically see nothing. In order to reveal, kind of fill in color in the map, there's actually this little icon right here. If you ever see this icon here and you tangibly walk up to it, there will be a map shard you can pick up, and that'll color in the map for you. We're not too worried about it right now. I think we're going to make our way pretty soon here to our third site of grace. It's just up the hill. Getting these first three graces are a great thing to do for reasons we're about to discover. There's some guys here in the trees. On launch day, they were actually invisible for a number of users, myself included. Thankfully, they're no longer invisible. They're a lot easier to fight if they don't see you. We're going to hit him with a heavy attack, 2 light attacks, and we're going to get some runes. That's the monies. The monies for Elden Ring. If we die while we're holding those, they will drop at our death location, and we will have to go back and pick them up. So, if you die on the way going back to pick up your runes, they're now permanently gone. So, we are going to try and remember that we don't want to be holding on the runes unless we're planning on spending them. We're going to curve a little left here towards those gates. But ultimately, if you're going to die holding runes, it's not a big deal. You can get them back. But if you die a second time on the way back to picking them up, those runes that you dropped are now gone. This is our third site of grace. The better you are at kind of seeing these from a distance, the easier some things are going to be. So kind of take note to yourself, like how quickly did you notice this site of grace even existed? We're going to touch this grace, and we are also going to rest at this grace. Resting here will trigger a cutscene. When prompted, go ahead and accept the offer. This will let us spend our runes to level up. In addition, we'll get the spectral steed whistle. We're going to go into our menu and put this onto our pouch over on the right. Instead of in our equipment, it is on our pouch. So that's going to have a little bit of separation for us when we're in combat or just exploring. So the lower left side is what is equipped in our equipment menus, but we can open up the pouch menu, and that is where we're keeping our horse for the time being. My personal preference, you don't have to do it this way. I just like a little separation. Open up the map, and we're going to fast travel back to the previous site of grace. It needs to be night for this interaction to happen. If it's not nice at the site, if it is not night at the site of grace, just rest until nightfall. Here, we're going to meet another character who, of course, probably has another quest line. We're going to make sure we exhaust their dialogue, and we're going to have an opportunity to get the Spirit Calling Bell, as well as the Spirit Summon Lone Wolf Ashes for free. If you don't come here at night, or you progress too far, quite literally in the world, this interaction never happens. There's lots of little things like that are very easy to miss, as they're not only location specific, but they're tied to, other factors, for in this case, a time of day, as well as how far you progressed. Another fun little interaction that happened here before we went forward was, do you see where glowing gold, and in the top left corner under the green stamina bar is a little icon as well? The Erd tree itself, the big giant gold tree, is literally blessing us and all around us. So if we are fighting and winning combat right now, we're supposed to get a bonus to runes drop. It's just a random event that can occur, and you can see here it's starting to fade away. We're going to open up our map and travel back to the previous site of grace we were just at. That's the Gatefront Grace. It's one of the handful we have unlocked. We're going to run up the hill. We're not stopping to fight anyone. We're just running up the hill as fast as we can. Some of these barricades you can run through. You can try and jump over them. Bottom line here is we do not need to be in any combat. We're not stopping to fight these guys. We're just going to run past them. As we come up the hill and crest the corner, you'll know you're on the right path because we're going to see a golden seed here. Here it is. Golden seed. An important item that it's always worth trying to make an effort to pick up as we travel through. We're going to turn a little left here, which is to the west by the compass, a little south, a little west, and we're going to kind of go through the woods here, keeping the rocks on the right, little open space on the left, and we're going to go pick up another fun item. To get to this item, we not only need to kind of turn the corner here, but we're going to start seeing some jellyfish. If the jellies are red, they're very mad. Leave them alone. If the jellies aren't red, they're not very mad, and leave them alone. So, all these jellies here, you can see these little jellyfish guys. Nobody's upset. When they're upset with you, they have a ranged attack that also poisons you. So after we make the jump, we'll turn back, kind of turn around here almost, and we're going to come around this corner and probably find a few upset jellyfish. See, they're red. It's very striking. You can tell from a distance that these jellyfish are intending to harm all near them. So leave them alone. We're just going to walk over and pick up this item right here and then jump off the cliff very casually. No problems here. There it is, the Godric Soldier Ashes. Again, just like the Spirit Wolves, these are other spirit summons we could do just for some variety, so we have options. Now, we're going to make our way up to the next site of grace. Here's the golden tree. We just made a little circle there. Took, what, a minute, 60 seconds, and we have a fun new item. Now, there are some howling wolves, some storm puppies that are going to come blasting out of the storm like this, and we're going to ignore them. We probably should have just kept running here, but I'm going to touch the site of grace first and then run away. We're just going to create some space and get on our horse. No problem. We're not fighting them. So there's the site of grace again. Here we are on our horse now. We're just running away. We're just creating a little distance between where they started and where they're going. We're going to check back, see if they're still chasing us. Man, they really want to play, and I don't have time to kill them. They're going to get a little further away and just try and lose aggro, lose that aggressive range they have. They're going back. Once we're out of combat, we can fast travel again. You cannot fast travel while in combat. So we needed to break this combat cycle, get a little bit of distance, and to touch the grace we just touched, the Stormhill Shack Grace, we're going to now fast travel back to. Or you could fight the wolves. Good luck with that. At the Stormhill Shack, where we just literally were, we're going to jump up here very casually and pick up one stone sword key. Always nice to have. In addition, we're going to find someone who needs their dialogue exhausted. This will take several attempts, somewhere between 0 and 20. You never know, but as soon as you start seeing that dialogue loop, you have an opportunity to move on. So we got another spirit summon here. So in just this little bit of time, we've gone down and picked up 3 different options for spirit summons, and you might like one more than others. So down here, you can see that we have the wolf. Here's the spirit jelly we just got, as well as these soldiers of Godric. So you have 3 different options for which ones you might use. Quick little tip here, whatever your button prompt is for this little queue, If you long press the button, it'll jump to the first item you have queued. So this can get kind of clogged up over time. You can see we have 3 different summons plus a blue flask and a red flask. But a long press of that button prompt will jump you to the literal first item you have in the bar, which for us is deliberately our health potion flask. While resting at the site of grace, we can add a charge to our flask using that gold seed we picked up, which now means we have a total of 5 flasks instead of a total of 4, and we can also allocate them. We can choose how we want to arrange those. We're going to head directly north up the hill and through the arches just straight ahead. This is technically a little bit off the beaten path. As you can see, the nice paved cobblestones here. We're going straight through the trees here, just straight up the hill, and we're going to make our way around the back. So again, just want to highlight that when we were resting at the site of grace, we could allocate the charges in our flask, which is the big word for, do you want, of our 5 potions we have, do we want 5 health and 4 for the blue bar, right? That's our casting bar. Or do we want, 3 and 2, 2 and 3? You can decide whichever you like, whatever's a good fit for you. Coming up on the end of the bridge here is an item we're going to pick up because it's shiny, and this time it's going to be a cookbook. These will let us make various consumables and craftables as we pick them up and learn the recipes. We need to go left here, but we're going to go right just to show this off. There's a little sparkly boy over here, and if you beat these guys up, they give you good stuff. Red ones give you some health, blue ones give you some of your blue bar, and these silver shiny ones unlock like a new skill. I'm just a complete genius here and missed every swing, and then they faded away. So better luck next time. If you reload the area, they should be there again, but don't kill yourself to get them. You can always just come back. So back on the path, we're going to make our way around the mountain here. This is important for a couple of reasons. It's going to open up some things a little earlier for us than might otherwise be opened, and it's going to allow us to have a little bit more room to stretch our legs and explore. Which, again, the point of this guide isn't to make you overpowered, but it's to give you options. And right now, as far as options go, we have 5 potential flask options, depending on how you want to split them between your red bar and your blue bar. We have 3 spirit summons. We have a spirit calling bell. We've got our horse. We've met several of the quest NPCs. We've met a shopkeeper. And we're just kind of, again, just opening up the world here. Nothing we've done is going to spoil anything in a major way. Nothing we've done is going to make you wildly overpowered, but these are just good options. We're going to go ahead to see the site of grace here, and we're going to touch this grace. Again, we're touching it. We're not resting at it. By touching it, we just pick it up as a location we know. By resting at it, we change the world around it. So we're going to dismount, touch the grace, and we're going to journey on a little further here. You can see there's another church structure straight in front of us there, which I guess our compass says is to the south, which is fine. There's 2 things in here that are important. There's a merchant that sells some magic items, and there's a sacred tier. Let's go ahead and pick up our very first sacred tier. Sacred tier, and there's the merchant on the bench. He's got some magic spells for you and some other goodies, and he's worth talking to, but we're not talking to him right now. We want to spend that sacred tier. It's a key item, so we're going to go back to the site of grace we just touched, and this time we're going to rest at that site of grace. In doing so, we should trigger a fun little cutscene. There we go. When given an opportunity to go to the round table hold, we're going to select yes. Right here, we're at the round table hold. The table in the center is quite literally a site of grace on the table's edge. We're going to go into the flasks again, and this time use the sacred tier. And now our flasks are a +1 flask. It quite literally means they go further. If you drink one, it now will heal you more than it would before. And look who else is here. We're going to exhaust her dialogue again. Turns out she made it here. And we're going to make our way around to this backside here, and we're going to meet the smithy. Here's where you upgrade your weapons. In addition, he has some dialogue we should be exhausting. Specifically, like the merchant before, he's got a little mini menu where we need to ask about the little lady in the red. After talking to him, we're going to go back and talk to her and exhaust her dialogue. You might say to me, Vadd, this is ridiculous. You're right. It could be seen as ridiculous. It's just how these games go. I couldn't exactly tell you why. After you exhaust her dialogue, you go back to the smithy and exhaust his dialogue. This is actually going to matter. We're not just running in circles in this guide. Everything we do has a purpose. When we have the prompt to ask the smithy to watch over, and it's what she wants, you know you're on the right path. And if you don't get to that, then keep exhausting the dialogue and kind of going back and forth. So once we've exhausted his dialogue on those prompts, this time she's going to say she actually might have a talent and she should trust the master. That's our clue to rest at the site of grace right here until whatever time of day you like. And this has a very important interaction we have just forced to happen by going through all that dialogue and resting. Notice at the fireplace, the little lady in red is not there. But where did she go? Let's head back towards the smithy and see what we can find. Surprise, surprise, she's a shopkeeper. So the smithy boy over there will upgrade your weapons, and the little lady in red here, she's going to upgrade your spirit summons. These guys also have their own level ups, and you need to unlock her as a shop to be able to upgrade them, and you have to go through all those interactions to make that happen, and nobody's going to tell you about this. There's no like clues, you know? So this is the round table hold. There's a load of NPCs in here who are worth talking to. We're not going to talk to them right now, as they all kind of have their own little quests and interactions and fun little lore. So they're definitely worth, you know, spending some time talking to. I'm going to highlight the 3 that are just in this room as they're here and now. Now we're going to recenter ourselves because I'm starting to get lost, as I am prone to do that. On the right is the fireplace, and to the right is the smithy. We're going to go to the left. Over here on the left has another, who put that chair there? Over here on the left is another NPC you can try and talk to, as well as just through these doors down this way is one more shop that's worth knowing about. If you accidentally or on purpose kill a merchant, they might drop a bell bearing. You can give these folks the bell bearing, and their shop will go into this shop. The shop currently still just sells stone sword keys as well as a memory stone to increase the magic spells you can throw. Other key items to note might be the finger seal for incantations. It's just good to know the shop is here and that you can offer bell bearings. If you pick up a bell bearing, come give it to the twin maidens here, and these little ladies will then have that shop in them. I know we're, you know, a few minutes into things, but ultimately at this point you've unlocked the round table hold. This is all in real time, so you have a realistic idea of how long this is going to take to do, as well as gotten several important shops set up for your adventures. We're going to open up our map from the Table of Lost Grace. We're going to fast travel to the Gate Front Site of Grace. From the Gate Front Site of Grace, we're going to use our Spirit Calling Bell to summon whatever spirit ashes you like. We did the Godric Soldier ones. They're just there to create a distraction. Jump on our horse, and we're going to make our way down the road in this direction. It's a little bit east according to our compass, and we're going to pick up this first map piece. We talked about it a little bit earlier, but here we are actually picking it up. This is going to color in and fill in the map for us. From this map pillar here, we're going to just duck around the corner and pick up the second key item. This is going to be the whetstone knife. The whetstone knife is going to allow us to change the skills on our weapons. Some weapons you can't change the skill on. It has a unique kind of custom special skill. But otherwise, these Ashes of Wars, these are the various weapon skills that we can swap around on our weapons if we want to. It is a key item. You can see it has quite literally the key icon. We can match that icon up at our inventory, and then we can find the whetstone knife. Now, on the map again, we're going to place our first beacon, our map marker, just over on this corner here. It's a good spot. Yeah, it's pretty good. Yep, that's good. Nice. There it is. I like these map beacons for 3 reasons. They show up quite literally on our compass. In addition, they show up on our map. Excuse me, sir. And they show up tangibly off in the distance. So you can really, you know, they help you not to get lost, right? You put them down and they're there. Now, these sites of grace we're picking up, you could probably shave maybe an hour off this run if you just skip all the sites of grace, as it adds a pretty significant amount of time. But I think they're important because they give us a point of reference. Not just a safe place, another fast travel point, but also just kind of a place to go. Did you hear that? Oi, you there? Could you help us out? Did you catch that? Did you hear that? As you're journeying around, there's all kinds of teeny tiny interactions like this. And this guy has actually been turned into a tree. So we're going to roll into him. This is Bach. He has a quest. Like all NPCs, even if I don't put the text on the screen, exhaust the dialogue. It's just an important mechanic to do. He's got a quest line. He's lots of fun. If you want to do it, go for it. Remember, when I say a quest line in Elden Ring, it doesn't necessarily mean at the end of it there's going to be a great reward. Some of the quests are just lore. Some of them are just world building. Some of them are just simply fun new places and bosses. They're not really mandatory experiences. You know, most everything in Elden Ring is pick your own, choose your own. You know, nothing's overly, you know, required, but it's a fun thing to do. Listen, here is the beacon. I want you to tangibly, quite literally walk through it. Pass your character through the beacon. Go right through the beacon. What this does, check this out, it clears it for you. That's it. You just walk right through them. It's off your map. It's off your compass. It's gone. And we are picking up our first Somber Smithing Stone 1. Just like the whetstone knife is needed to change the Ash of War, the skills on our weapons, you need somber smithing stones or smithing stones in order to upgrade various weapons. The weapons that are kind of one-of-ones, they're kind of custom weapons, they will need those somber smithing stones generally. And the weapons that are more generic, just, you know, long sword, short sword, whatever, those generally do okay with just the smithing stones. So we are on this route going to pick up a weapon that has value if you upgrade it with somber smithing stones, and that's why we are grabbing the somber smithing stones, because we're going to try and upgrade that weapon. This site of grace we will be coming back to. I'm not going to emphasize that moving forward, but some of these sites of grace are important, like this one we'll come back to. Let's go ahead and try out the beacons. We'll put down 2 this time. Here's 1. Go a little to the right. I don't know. Maybe there. That's good. There's 2. Now notice it actually quite literally put a 1 and a 2. And you can see on our compass there is a 1 and a 2. So the order we place them in, we can really just guide ourselves around the map. As long as we, you know, have an idea where we're placing the beacons, they actually create a lot of value for us. So you can see to our left here is number 1 and to our right is number 2. I really like that numbering feature. It's not, you know, it's a little thing, right? On these tombs, we're just here to loot the gold runes. These are free money, okay? Once you've looted the gold runes, they go into your inventory, and if you ever need money, you can go into your inventory and select use on the gold runes and get the money. It's the safest way to carry money around, is sometimes you just don't want to be carrying a lot of it around. We're just grabbing the gold runes here, nothing fancy, nothing tricky, no combat. Money is good for everyone, usually, right? I don't want the wolves to eat me, but we're going to try and clear this marker out. Now notice, we cleared out the number 1 marker. The number 2 marker did not change its number. It is still a number 2 marker. So even though we cleared out the first marker and we only currently have 1 singular marker, it is still listed as number 2. So it can get a little tricky. If we open up our map and put down 2 more markers, they would be marker 1 and marker 3. So just be careful if you're clearing these out, you know, that you note what number you do. We're looking for these like tombstone teeth kind of on the edge here. They're going to give us a safe spot to jump down. I think they're right over here. Yep, here we go. There we are. Just be very careful here. Sometimes it's easier to do this if you dismount, but I'm not too concerned, so I just kind of walked off the edge. But you might have some trouble with the horse, as it is kind of a big first step. And no fall damage. Nice, nice, very nice. All right, and we found some more tombs, which are going to pick up some more gold runes. So again, this run really isn't going to break the game. It's not going to, you know, spoil anything major. It's just going to open up the world around you. Picking up these gold runes, doesn't matter what class you are, you're going to need to be spending gold runes to be upgrading your weapon of choice as well as upgrading your stat lines. So this is, you know, just, it's on our way, right? It's not like we've mostly just run in straight lines so far and fast traveled to backtrack if we, you know, need to get an encounter or a special item. But this is on our way to our next location. Now, this next location we're going toward is actually going to be a little tough. Up to this point, we've had absolutely no combat. It's been pretty casual just to kind of go from point. Oh, check this out. See these skulls here? Step on them. If you step on them, there's always a chance you get something good. Usually a gold rune 1, which is 200 monies. Here's another. Just step on them with the horse or hit them with your weapon if you're on foot and pick up the item. So we just got 400 bonus runes. As we're going around, we'll make an effort to do that. You'll probably end up with a lot more gold than I will, because you'll probably step on more of those little glowing skulls than I will. This next location is a little tougher, quite a bit tougher than anything we've done so far. There's no combat, but I would plan on dying here a few times, so let's clear out our marker. If you actually are carrying a bunch of runes for some reason, like quite literally money in your pocket on the screen in the bottom right, stop that. From this site of grace, we're going to make our way up the hill. There's only one thing we're trying to get here. It is a super important item, but this place is under siege. You can see the tower shooting. Hang on. There it goes. We don't want to get shot by that. These guys here are kind of attacking the tower. And I may have died here like 50 times. Let's not talk about it. Important things to know is there's a golden seed here, which is very nice. Here's the golden seed just here. There's a big pumpkin head boy coming down the steps. So if we're just a little bit patient and kind of just do a little dance here, the pumpkin guy will get down the steps, which is what we want. You can get up the steps like right at the start with him there, but it's just kind of a hassle. He's got a long reach. So it looks like he's aiming for our wolves, so we're going to jump in. Once we get inside, the danger's not over. There's like some ambush rats, and we got some fire pot guys, so don't try not to get eaten by a rat or blown up by the fire barrels, which is kind of a lifelong goal of mine, and so far not winning, okay? I don't know who put these bombs here, but wasn't for me. Once you get to the top of the steps, you're going to have to sprint, as there's a very angry man with a very long reach. Right here, he usually kills me. You should not do that jump. That was my mistake. Oh, he got me. I think if I don't jump there, I just beat him out. It's tough. It's really tough. What happened here is I kind of died. He stabbed me on the steps, and then I came back and tried to get on the ladder, but I pick up my room, and then I died, and then now we're here. Bottom line, we're only here to get this item right here. This is the Dectus Medallion, 1/2. This is the left half. This is an item we'll eventually need. We're going to fast travel back to the last site of grace we were just at. We're going to use our golden seed and increase the charge of our flasks, which is always nice. So you can see here we have 6 total flasks, which is pretty good. Now, up here you can see, right here, this is going to reveal the map, right? This is the map marker, the painted zone. This is going to paint in the map. Quite literally fill it out for us. We love that. Let's head in that direction. But we're going to wander a little bit. We're not running in straight lines. Notice the giant gold Erd tree, the big gold glowing tree. There are some smaller trees around the map. Oh, we got another skull. Nice, 200 runes. There are some smaller trees around the map that we do want to check out. Here's another merchant. That's always nice to find. The smaller trees often have a guardian on them. Oh, wait, hold on. I want to note this. Check this out. On the map, in between where we're going, you can see even though the map hasn't filled in, because we now met the merchant, his icon is on the map. So even though we haven't colored in the map just yet, the merchant icon, the character icon we just met, is there, which is unique interaction. The smaller Erd trees, the smaller kind of giant trees, not the giant gold one, but the smaller giant trees, just like that. Oh, hey, listen closely. I'll try and turn it up. Did you hear that howling? Everyone heard that, right? Okay, I hope you heard that. If you didn't, bummer. Tell me when you see the wolf. Not the giant bears. There are quite literally 3 giant bears within like 10 seconds of us. I mean the wolf, the giant wolf man. Everybody saw him, right? Yeah, thanks game devs. It really is tough to see some of these folks if you don't know exactly where to look. We are going to make it to the map marker. When we get to the map marker, we're going to head towards one of the smaller Erd trees, so small giant trees, okay? As most of them have a guardian and a protector that you need to fight to get a special drop. This one does not, and it's on our route. How about that? Isn't that nice? We're going to ignore the bear. He's a happy bear. And that bear is very mean. We're going to leave him alone. Get our map marker. Nailed it. We're going to make our way up towards the tree. I know you can't really see it's a giant tree because the other smaller trees are in the way. I like some of these words just don't make sense unless you can see what's going on here, right? But we're just coming up the hill to grab these right here. These are cracked tears. These are very important items that we're going to talk about in the next couple of minutes here. We're going to go around the base of the tree. To our left is actually a tree trunk. You can actually see on the map here, it has its own symbol and it's painted in as a giant tree. Those giant trees, oh look, and here's the name of the wolf, Blad or Blade or however you say it. On our left here's a giant tree. These giant trees generally have a protector. Defeating those protectors are going to get us more of these cracked tears. We're actually going to kind of a little bit of another hidden kind of secret kind of off the beaten path location. We're not going to do anything fancy here. This is more again just to know that it's here. It's an incredibly long elevator, but if you take this elevator down, eventually you get to this underground city, which I think is super cool. We're just going to grab the site of grace. I just want you to have the fast travel point and know that this place exists. Explore it at your own will. There's all kinds of fun stuff down here. It's a whole new world, but we're not going to spend time in this video in this location. I more so want you to have that fast travel point, know where it is. It's on our path, and it is a cool spot. Do me a favor. If you like this video, click like. YouTube channel members to support what I do, and away we go back up the elevator. I'm probably going to cut out most of the elevator as I kind of don't want to spoil this place because I think it's a lot of fun to explore, but also it's like a 5-minute elevator ride. Nobody needs that. All right, back on the path. Wait, does this lever do anything? Not right now. Okay. Like if the elevator wasn't there, you could slap that lever to pull it up, whatever. You can see the happy bear just ahead of us to the left. There's the map marker pylon as well. we're going to head down to the map marker and go down the road. Did you know this was a road? Could you tell this was a road? Does this look like a road to you? I struggle to like discern the roads sometimes, but this is a road we're on right here. Does it feel like a road? Not, I mean, it kind of does, but also feels like a forest path. This is a road. We're going to continue down the road. This is a road. I know I've said that 3 times, but I'm still a little flummoxed. This is road. Look out for the little bear. It is actually quite a large bear, but, and we're going to ignore the pigs as well. We're heading for that church structure. Do you see it starting to kind of zone in from the distance? This church structure has some very, very important items here that you just don't want to not have. There's other ways to get here that might be faster if you're just trying to go in a straight line, but you missed some of the stuff we picked up. Specifically, we're going to get our flask of physic as well as more crystal tears. I'm going to explain exactly what those are in just a moment, because we're also going to grab not just the crystal tears, but these are sacred tears as well. This is very special here. Okay, another sacred tear, another crystal flask, another crystal tear, our first and only flask of physic. Go into your flask. Let's spend our sacred tears, okay, and get that juicy plus number. And let's go into mix wondrous physic. This is our wondrous physic mix. Okay, the 3 crystal tears we picked up each has their own bonuses. There's like 20 or 30 of these. So as you continue the journey around, you're going to get more of them. This one is going to raise stamina as well as fulfill half of our health bar. So if we drink it, it's now gone. Our stamina goes up. That's the green bar. And if we were low on health, 50% of our health would be recovered because we mixed it this way. As you continue the journey on, you're going to get more crystal tears and have more fun mixes you can make. But if you want to repopulate the flask, you have to rest at a site of grace, and you only get 1 drink. We're going to open up our map, and we are going to journey back to the first merchant we met at the opening sites of grace here at the Church of Ella. Now, if we had killed this merchant and brought the bell bearing to the round table hold, we'd be in trouble because we actually need to talk about the howling of a wolf that we heard in the woods we were just in. He's going to give us a new gesture. It's a snap your finger gesture. How about that? We're going to have to equip the gesture. There might be another way to do this, but this is how I know how to do it. And now we can snap our finger. So now we're going to journey back over to the wolf. Vadd of the, I think the half wolf. I think the closest fast travel point is going to be the fort, where we just were, and this time we'll take a little bit more of a direct route. This is a mini quest we're gonna complete the first kind of maybe 5% of together. Depends on where you want to end this quest. Ooh, shiny. What was that? I think it was a message. I don't know. Listen. We're going to journey over to the wolf, and we are going to use the gesture the merchant gave us. There's the big howl again, right? Tell me when you see him. He's up on a tree. He's literally in front of us. Not the giant bears. We're going to try really hard not to get killed by a bear. Bit of a lifelong goal, what can I say? So giant sleeping bear on the left, howling wolf up there. We're going to open up our menu and just see. Yeah, it's not wake the bear. Will this wake the bear? I don't know. Open up our menu, go into the gestures, and use the finger snap we just got. All right, bear's happy. And, oh, he fell over there. Okay, I'm on the wrong side. Silly me. We will just go around, I guess. And we're going to, say it with me, exhaust the dialogue. You've got to progress things. What's up, guy?
Who goes?
It's me.
Carly sent you, did he?
So, he wants us to do something together. And we're going to do that. Back to this fast travel point where we just were just a couple of minutes ago. We're going to go up the hill, which I guess is technically south, but whatever. We're going to go to our first ever Gowl. It's like a mini boss dungeon. This is going to be very light combat, completely optional. This is going to unlock the item that we've been picking up those somber smithing stones for. So if you don't feel like doing this, don't go for it. You cannot use your summons in one of these, but if you see one of these again, you know what it is. You examine, you say yes, and it sucks you in. For us, we're going to be very careful here to very first walk up to the summon sign. This is one of our first summon signs. How fun is this? We want Vadd to do all the heavy lifting and not to be upset that we mispronounced his name. So after he has summoned in successfully, then we'll walk over to this blue glow, and now we fight the boss. And by we, I mean him. Our big plan is to try not to die. Again, bit of a lifelong goal, okay? But, oh boy, we're a little too close for this. I'm going to leave the whole fight in. Less to wow everyone with my incredible incompetence, and more because, oh gosh, I thought he had me there. More because I just need to hold my breath. Hold on. Oh boy. More because I want to show you what it looks like when I said there's some light combat in this video. This is one of, I think, like 2 fights, okay? And completely optional. You don't have to do this. But as you can see, you know, my half-wolf buddy here pretty much just tears it up. As long as we don't get too close like some kind of like real genius that we are, we can just let Vlad tear it up. Oh yeah, good work, team. Well done, us. Now, we made a mistake here. We pulled aggro. We have the boss's aggression on us, and we are panicking. Run! We need the half-wolf to get back involved, but he missed both swings of his sword, so we are just going to create as much distance as we can and try and get the half-wolf to pull that aggro, and maybe we'll help a little here. I don't know. I just really don't want to die. Oh boy, we gotta help. We gotta help. We can't let him get too comboed. Yeah. Well done, comrade. So we got the Bloodhound Fang, which is a sweet 2-hand curved sword. Why not? Afterwards, it's very important we leave and we talk to our new friend.
Right.
Exhaust
There you are.
his
Had to
dialogue.
work for it, but it's
There's
done.
2 rewards here. One is Somber Smithing Stone,
If
2.
you venture north to
And
Car,
we should have an
and come
opportunity
across
to meet a venerable blacksmith.
large site,
Ooh, we will meet him later
I
on.
sent you.
From the most recent fast travel point, we're going to start the run from there. Again, you could just go straight off the edge of the cliff to get this way, but we're going to start from the point of grace so that we should have a clear start line. We're going to run down the hill. This is going to be kind of a lot of running to pick up a couple of fun items that, you know, again, it's Elden Ring. It's an open world kind of sandbox. I think, you know, there's very few things you have to do. You can see we have the summon icon on the left, so we are going to summon in some wolves, mostly for a distraction. We're not really here to fight anything. Just try not to die, okay? Sometimes that's a little easier said than done. This is one of them. There's quite a lot of like, oh boy, quite a lot of these angry boys here just doing whatever it is they do. We're going to pick up this item here, though. It's a stone sword key, always nice to have. And then run over to this site of grace. We'll use one stone sword key later on, just so we can see what they are and understand them a little better. But it's a nice item to have. From this point of grace, we're just going to do more running. Lots more running and more opening up the world. Just down the road from these fallen armsmen is a quest line. It's right here. I've got a guide on my channel for this quest line. It's got some fun stuff in it. But again, it's, you know, like most quests in Elden Ring, pretty much completely optional. We're going to go down the hill and pick up another weapon. Just for a little variety in our arsenal. Is, you know, we started as the guy, the class, the wretch or whatever. We should have a club. Now we have like a 2-hand curved sword, which is kind of fun, but this is going to be a nice little one-handed weapon. It's a Morning Star. It's just a little spiky ball on a stick, you know, kind of like a fancy club, whatever. It's not bad. You don't have to grab it, but I think it's nice and it's more or less on the way. And here is a Smithing Stone 2. So we have picked up a Somber Smithing Stone 1 and 2, as well as a Smithing Stone or 2 along the way, 1 and 2 as well. So regardless what item you started with or specializing in, you can get your hands on some upgrades. Listen, see on the right there, the color of night, the color of darkness, just the pitch black horse walking on the road. Things are different at night than during the day. I don't know if you can tell it's night, but this horse guy, he's only here at night. There are some world bosses and other events that only happen at times of the day. You can see now it's morning and he's not there. So if you're having trouble with him, just rest till morning. Here's another merchant. I'm going to show you the inventory in this one. Notice here the medallion is the same starting medallion you could have picked. And another stone sword key if you needed one. Like I said, you can get a lot of these items early on in the keepsake, so don't sweat it. We're going to pick up 4 items on this little island. I haven't shown you the map yet, so you don't know it's an island, but first, we're going to pick up the map. I thought that'd be nice, you know. We're going to ignore the glowing skull and try not to die. I know this looks like a very peaceful, scenic route, and that's because it is until, you know, something tries to kill you. Do you see it? Tell me when you see it. Can you feel it? Can you feel we're moments away from death? We're going to pick up the map and run. Did you hear it? Let's look. Let's look. That's right. Somebody's shooting at us. Somebody's shooting at us from like a mile away. Are you kidding me, guy? Do you see him down there? I mean, is he even in render? Ah! Okay, run. We don't need that in our life. We're going to do the run one more time to pick up a golden seed. We're going to, again, kind of hug the right wall. and maybe get a closer look at what's shooting at us. There is like a little mini boss down there. You can fight him and then he'll stop shooting, but you know, you could also just kind of like dodge around, you know, very carefully. There's the gold seed on the little gold tree. I don't know if he can hit me here at this angle. I don't think so. I think we're safe here. Ooh, I think I rolled into that. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I think we're relatively safe here. Not here, but like just around the corner here. There's a gold seed. That's all we want. I think we're safe. For science, we'll just wait. All right. To the map. So we're going to put three markers down. One here. See, it's a little island. Here's a second one. And a third one over here. You don't have to do this. You're welcome just to follow the route. I mean, if anything, they're more for me than anyone else at this moment. All right. From the most recent site of grace, we're going to head up the hill. It's kind of a long way up the hill. And I died here because I made like 3 wrong turns and the rats got me. Which I'm not going to say is the story of my life, but definitely the story of this run. So I'm going to show you the way not to die, which is always fun. We're just going up the hill all the way up, and there's a church here with some rats that they're very angry, and one of them has gotten quite large. So you can see they have these like glowing eyes and stuff. Like they're like frenzied rats or something. They're wild. They're just some wild rats. And here, so it's another church structure, no site of grace, but there is a sacred tier. I missed this jump here on the wall, and then I panicked. I ran into another wall. Just don't panic when the rats come for you, okay? Just jump over them casually and keep moving with your day like this. Much better. Sacred tier accomplished. We'll run through this little village. And there should be another site of grace just over this hill. Aha, there we are. Very nice. Whew, safe. Location 1 of 3 here. We're going to make our way across over this way. There's a little bit of a fall here. It's a little bit of a hard fall. We might actually take some damage. Hope not, but we kind of angle this way and then curve back. You can see there's like a little ledge here. Oh boy, that's some damage. All right, we survived. So again, I'm not wearing any armor, and I pick the absolute lowest base stats of all the characters. So almost no matter what you choose, you should survive that, right? This is actually like an assassin guy, not a pile of rags. I think he drops a unique dagger. I don't know if it's any good, but some of the enemies are special like that. And on our left here, if you tried to go up the hill here on the left, the cliffside here, you have to go around, but there's an Erd tree. Like one clue is these little guardian guys. These are like the Erd tree guardians. And that would have a little, you know, tree guardian that would drop more of the cracked tears, which would give you more options for your flask of wondrous physics. There's actually a lot of good flask mixes that can give you some really fun buffs and bonuses. So it's probably worth kind of running down those trees when you find them on the map and beating the guardians if you're up for that, which I am not for today's video. Just ahead, we have a church structure we're going to go into. We're going to pick up 2 items here. Go ahead and clear out our map marker, the Church of Pilgrimage. Check this out. Here's another sacred tier. And a site of grace. Always nice. We like these. These are nice. From here, we're going to make our way just down the hill again and pick up that 3rd location. Along the way, I want to point out, you can see the minor Erd tree there on the left. That's where the mini boss would be for more crystal tears. And straight ahead of us is the only walking mausoleum we're going to see. When you beat some of the main story bosses, they're going to drop a item, remembrance of X boss name. Okay? And that item can be turned into money, or it can be turned into an item, and you usually have to choose one of 2 possible choices for that item. You can duplicate a boss remembrance at these walking mausoleums. They're kind of puzzle bosses out in the field, okay? This one's got a big, I think, bell underneath, kind of ding-a-linging, and you just need to knock off their legs or whatever, and then you can knock them down, and then you can duplicate that boss remembrance and get both boss items. So beat the boss, get the drop. This should look familiar. Anyone know what this is? Right, we just saw one of these. Beat the boss, the main story bosses, get the drop, knock over one of these walking mausoleums, and then you'll be able to get both boss items. That's the gist of it. This is the last sacred tier we're going to grab out here. I think that rhymed. I hope I haven't conked the rhymes. They could be contagious. But one more site of grace as well. And you know, it has been a little bit of time, a little chunk of time. What are we closing in on here? I don't quite know. But point is, as far as our flasks go, we're looking really good. You know, no matter what your build is or, you know, how you want to play Elden Ring, assuming you don't want to have healing flasks, I guess. That's an option. You know, these are going to just be really nice to have gone ahead and picked up at the beginning of your journey, because eventually you just kind of need them, you want them. So if I swivel over to our potions here, we're now at a +5 of our potions, be it the blue or the red. We're going to fast travel all the way back to the gate front ruins and then up to the Stormhill Shack. So Stormhill Shack acts as the fast travel, just a little up from the gate front ruins here. Look, another golden seed. Because we jumped through all the hoops for the little lady over here, and we got the jellyfish and the help to get her set up as a spirit tuner, there's now a golden seed where she is. Notice here to add a charge to our flask, it now costs 2 golden seeds. So there's an increase in cost of golden seeds as you progress. I think you need a total of 30 golden seeds to get all the stuff. However, there's like 47 or something in the world. Like, there's plenty of golden seeds. So we have 7 flasks at +5, which feels really good, man. Listen, we're going to go down the road here. We're going to meet 3 different quest NPCs, 2 different shops, and just a bunch of good stuff that's just kind of, you know, here in the storm. We're going to try and go around these bullies. There's some mean dudes, all right? Maybe pick up a shiny if we can. Oh, boy, fire arrows. Okay, nice. Just over this way, down this road here, is going to be the War Master's Shack. Over here is not only a fast travel point, but it's also a shop. You remember how I said that knife was going to help us change our Ash of War, our skills on our weapons? Well, one place you could get some of those skills is from this merchant here. He not only has a quest line he's involved with, but he also has a shop. One item I might really recommend is the one that says Ash of War, no skill. If you're planning on using a shield, sometimes shields have special skills and you want them to not have a skill, so your weapon skill is the priority and you want that Ash of War. Moving on, just down the road. We're just continuing down the road here. A little north, a little east by the compass. We're just going to stay on the road and try not to die. Maybe that's what the title of this is. Try not to die in Elden Ring. I don't know. It doesn't feel like that explains him. Listen up. Do you hear him? Not yet. He's coming. Do you hear him yet? Come on. There's an environmental clue. Here it comes.
Hello?
Can you hear me? Help me. I'm stuck. All right, Step Pot. We'll help you out. Listen. Grab the Site of Grace first in case something tragic happens. You never know. We just went down the road. Nothing fancy here. We're going to backtrack up the hill here now that we have that fast travel point, as we have touched Grace, not rested at the Grace. And we're going to meet another fun character. Of course, they have a quest line, and there's all kinds of different places you could run into them. This is one of the very first, if not the very first. Guess what you should do here?
Just give me a good smack.
You should give him a good smack from the rear with something nice and big and exhaust his dialogue. I've got one of these. I don't know if he was prepared for this, but this is all I've got. So in order to exhaust his dialogue, you do need to complete his request and just give it to him real good. It's what he wants. And Morning Star, good morning, Morning Star. Got him. And now we exhaust his dialogue again.
Well played.
He likes it. One more needs to be said. Back to the most recent fast travel point here on Saints Bridge. We're going to journey down the bridge. So that is 2 more kind of fun little quest NPCs. We're not going to fight the big Pumpkinhead boy. Pick up a shiny. Why not? What is it? Smithing Stone. Nice. Smithing Stone 1. Okay. So there's another NPC just down the road, but there's a merchant. Did you hear him? Another environmental clue. This one was playing some music for us. Here's another merchant with some more fun items. Nothing super crucial, but just worth noting is here. Down the road we go. And down the road here is going to be another quest NPC. This is one of the earliest points you're going to run into them out in the world, and they are just here on the left. It's worth chit-chatting with them.
There's no mistake, is there? Death has left its mark.
And exhausting their dialogue. I was trying to exhaust the dialogue, and that skeleton boy came for me. I thought maybe the skull would hit the big boy and he'd go fight him for me for free money, but I was wrong. Completely curved him and just walloped me. So let's go. I'm not fighting you guys. But, you know, if you have trouble talking to him like I did for whatever reason, just run down the hill like this, and there's going to be a Site of Grace we're heading towards. Then you can rest at the Grace, which will help reset the world. Yeah, he's still chasing me. Oh my goodness. Well, we'll just go over the Site of Grace. It's fine. I'm not going to exhaust the dialogue this time myself, but definitely worth exhausting his dialogue to learn more about him and his quest line and whatnot, and just the world. So here's the Site of Grace. We're going to use our very first stone sword key just up ahead. Little update on the map, just kind of where we are. So here's the Stormhill Shack. Here's the War Master Shack. Just down the road, we met Alexander the Pot. Okay, a little further down the road, we met our very first merchant. A little further down, we met D, who's got the Hunter of the Dead, and we're here at this village outskirts Site of Grace. So this one road here, as long as you get here early on, has all kinds of fun people, but as you progress through the game, they're going to not be there anymore. They will move to other locations. So right at the start, you can run into a number of them, which is kind of fun. We're going to use our first stone sword key. You don't have to do this if you want to save your keys for something else. There are more stone sword keys in the world than there are places to use them currently in the base game. This wall here is a clue. We can't go through it. The only way to get through one of these is to find where to put the stone sword key. There's these little humper dudes here, and they're always hungry for a stone sword key. It uses the item. If you had one and you use it, you now have 0, but it unlocks the wall. So if you know what you're unlocking, it's definitely worth using, but otherwise it's kind of a question mark. We're going to go into the little turtle kingdom here and, you know, pour one out for the turtle menace, but we're gonna open it up. He's alive. He's well. Let me not confuse anyone there. I miss him. He needs to come back. We're gonna pick up this item. It's the green turtle talisman, and this item is one of my favorites because what it does is it increases your stamina regeneration. We use stamina for everything: dodging, running, swinging, casting spells, everything. We're gonna fast travel to the third church of Marika, where we picked up our flask of physic, and we're gonna use our first portal as well. I really do like that talisman. I think it kind of fits most builds early on. There are definitely better talismans, but this is a teleporter. They're hidden around the world. Can you tell? Can you tell how hidden this thing is? Like, it's just in the weeds. Look at this thing. Here it is. Yep, right here. We're gonna go ahead and use it in fast travel, and then we're just gonna relax. Do not start combat with this big boy. He can fly and one-shot you. We're like in the middle of nowhere. These things will teleport you quite literally all over. There's a number of kind of tricky steps here. We are in a higher level zone than we've been before. The enemies are much, much more dangerous than they were prior. So let's just chill out here. Just relax. We're not picking fights. We're running casual. Look out for little stabby boys. They're about yay high as the grass. So be careful. Like they're just kind of hanging out, trying to kill you. They're very dangerous, but they're a very good source of early runes if you're so inclined. You see them? There's one right on my left there. About to just clobber me. Grab the golden seed, make your way towards the bridge, but not across the bridge, as at the bottom of the bridge there's a Site of Grace, which we want to grab, but there's no little stabby boy. But the bridge has a dragon, and we're not fighting the dragon. We're just not. If you want to, have fun, okay? But the bridge has a dragon, all right? We're going to grab the Site of Grace, and I'll try and do a better job at showing you the stabby boys. They are good to farm. They drop a lot of runes this early on, but they're kind of tough if they surprise you. They'll mess you up. I'll try and lock on the one here. There's one right there. You see him? Right there. Yep. Whoa, boy. But if you get the jump on them, they have very low poise, which means a heavy attack will knock them sideways, and then another heavy attack will kind of keep them sideways, but they're very hard to see. Over this way, we're going to drop down very carefully. Not because it's a big drop. I just don't want to take any extra damage. This looks good. Yeah, good enough. And we're going to stay off the road. It's tough to tell for me, but on the left is a road, and it's full of booby traps. That's for the boobies, so just stay away, and it will mess you up. So don't go down the road over there if you don't have to. We'll just kind of stay on this edge, and if you come here at night, ... there might be a special enemy here, okay? If you come here at night, you're having a different experience as the time of day changes the game, right? Listen. Another Site of Grace, another checkpoint found. This is an important Site of Grace because it gets us around the dragon. But also there's a couple of items really close to here that are kind of hidden. I'm going to show you one of them that is, again, optional, that you don't have to grab. I'm going to show you how to do it. But there are these little towers with these magic seals on the door you can't go through. For this one, they're all kind of puzzle towers. We need to jump, and looks like we missed. We completely missed. Oh boy. The spirit jumps prevent fall damage, but we're trying to land on this little balcony. See the balcony there? Okay, that's a good shot. Ooh, that's a good shot. There we go. We're in. That's the puzzle for this one. Some of them have, you know, different solutions to the puzzle, but these little puzzle towers, most of them have the memory stone and some other stuff sometimes. This one has the memory stone we're just going to grab. The memory stone increases the number of slots you have for your magics, whether it's spells or incantations or whatever. So to solve this one, you just, jump onto the balcony, go up the elevator, don't fall off. Why are we looking so slick? Man, we're looking greased, absolutely bronzed out here. What is going on? Well, make our way up top and we will grab the memory stone. It's not an item you use, just literally having this item in your inventory. You can see it's a key item. Increases how many spells we can remember and thus throw around. So it's right here in our key items. You just hold on to it. You don't sell it. You don't use it. You don't activate it. It's just here. Okay, so back from the site of grace. You can skip that if you don't care about memory stones, but it's an easy one. It's on the way. We're jumping up top. These should look familiar. We've done 1 or 2 of these, huh? Look at that. Golden runes. Free money. Love that. These are so nice. It's just nice to have. You're going to at some point want to be able to spend some of these on to buy something. You don't have to do any combat. They're safe to carry around. It's just nice. From these golden runes, we're going to come up on our first Erd tree that has a defender on it, and we're not going to fight him, but tell me if you see him. He's going to attack us probably before we can see him. You can see on the right here is the bridge with the dragon. We're just going to go down the road here. You could skip all this by just running past the dragon, but why would you do that? But you could. It would be faster. Oh, gold skull. Nice, 200 monies. See a little mini tree here straight ahead of us. It's going to have an avatar, a little defender, who's currently attacking us. Good golly, please stop. And if you fight him and win, then he's there on the right. I don't know if you saw him, but if you fight him and win, you'll get more cracked tears, which is fun. But we're not going to fight him. And these pots should kind of look familiar, right? You got to wonder why these ones don't talk or what happened here, right? I'm sure there's some lore explanations that is outside of the scope of this video. Listen, up the spirit jump we go. And to the left over here, there's a little fort here and another world puzzle boss that we're going to spend a little bit of time on. More so introducing than actually clearing out, as again, this is a how to get started guide, not how to get wildly overpowered and have everything explained for you. Here we are. We're at this site of grace, an important site of grace for us to have. Did you notice the giant dragon? Right here. There's a wing on the left and a tail on the right. This is another puzzle boss. I'm not going to tell you how to do this. There's lots of guides on how to do this. There's like 3 easy solutions and probably 5 hard ones, but for the most part, this is actually a puzzle boss. And I don't think we even do enough damage right now to even get a health bar to show up. Let's see here. That's all I got. Oh, there it is. 85. We did 85 damage. Yeah, it's not happening. From the site of grace, there is a way to do it. I'm telling you, it's a puzzle boss. We're going to try not to die. There's only 1 item in here I feel like you definitely should get, and 2 that are probably worth getting. You're probably going to die a few times. Not a big deal. Don't carry your runes on you, right? We're going to try and do a little stealth. I don't know if this matters. You could just run through because we're going to get poisoned. There are these little singing birds and we have like minimal stats, so we're going to get beat up here. Maybe it's just better to run through. I don't know. I don't think it's a big deal either way. Up the ladder, there's a chest, and in this chest is the second half of the medallion. Remember we picked 1/2 of a medallion earlier? This is going to be the second half of that medallion. This is the only item I feel like you have to get here. Eventually in the main story, they're going to say, hey, you need to go to this place. And they just want you to wander around and find these medallions. You now have both halves. So when you get to that point in the story, you need to progress. You don't have to like try and, reinvent the wheel. Now, if you do want to get the other 2 bonus items in here, I'm going to get them. You don't have to. The 2 items, one is a gold rune, and the other one is going to be another talisman. So we have the Stone Turtle talisman, which I'm incredibly happy with. Eventually we'll have the, okay, really quick. Past the first hole, this one here, and into the second one's where we need to go. This is going to be the drop down. I'm going to maybe try and make it brighter as it's like pitch black in here. We don't have a torch because we are foolish like that. Up ahead here, I think there's a rat. Ah, rat! Oh no. So here's a gold rune, which is nice. I kind of died, so I'm going to do the jump again. Right from the gold rune, we need to like sneak across here. So here's where the golden rune was. And here's the jump. Mental note, turn up the brightness. I mean, it is pitch black in here. Bottom line, right now we can only carry 1 talisman. But pretty soon we'll be able to carry more talismans. So it might be nice to have this one as well. We're going to grab it and use it ourselves as we have very, very low stats. And then probably, serve a meal up to the rat god. Oh my goodness, no. So, you can see on the right the stat boost we're going to get here. Boom. Look at this. Okay, misclick, misinput. Let's try again. Boom. So this will give us like a +5 to most of our important stats, which for us matters a lot. we're going to go from the most recent Site of Grace here just over this wall here and make our way down into, again, just a higher, difficulty, more dangerous area. There's nothing, there's no signposts that really tell you that, but this next area is quite a bit more dangerous. So again, it would not be a surprise if you died through here. We're going to use the Spirit Jump to negate any fall damage and make our way down into the swamp. It's a lot of enemies in here that not only are tough to kill, but also they like regenerate and stuff. So we're just going to run by them. We're not stopping to fight anything. A lot of ranged enemies here. Things of note in this church structure here we're coming up on. Two things, I guess three things. One, Site of Grace, always nice, fast travel point. In addition, there is a sacred tier, I do believe, and a quest line here. We're not going to interact with this quest at all, but just for you to know that there is a quest that you can do over here in this corner. See here, this little lady here, she's got some stuff going on. If you talk to her, you can start that quest. So, from this Site of Grace, we're going to go ahead and use the sacred tiers and go ahead and get that bonus. So we're at +6 now with a 7 flasks total. Be careful with the stabby boys. They've got a lot of hands, and there's a lot of like nasty enemies through here that like spawn in from nowhere, ignoring like the undead that come from underground. We actually just died here as there's a like magic ball that materializes out of nowhere and tries to run you over. See, there it goes. Oh my goodness, it's wildly dangerous. So we're going to come around the corner here and just down this edge. And there's another one. You see it? Boom. Oh man. After we turn this corner and get through this section here, there's a Site of Grace we're going to go ahead and grab. And one skeleton boy, probably worth maybe killing him so he doesn't shoot you. I don't think he'll kill you in one hit, but we're not going to grab that Site of Grace because Steve here is going to try and put another arrow in us. This is a tricky fall just to try and get this golden seed. All of this is for a golden seed. We are going to take a little fall damage there, so we will swig a potion, but one more golden seed for us, and away we go further into the swamp lands. Oh boy. Okay, nailed it. It's a little bit of a tough jump, just holding my breath here. So, these magic door here that we're passing, we're not going to go through. They are part of the quest line. We're not doing with the little lady we just ran past, but just go along the edge of the swamp here. Our compass says west, kind of the swamp water on the left. We're looking for a giant red glowing ball and kind of a crack in the terrain. Try and keep our eyes open for it here. It's just up here on the right. Once you found it once, it's much easier to find the second time. I know that's not like the most helpful thing, but here's the giant glowing ball, hard to miss. And here's the crack, this kind of canyon here. It's very dangerous in here. We're just going here to pick up a somber smithing stone. If you're not upgrading a somber weapon, you don't have to do this whole section. You could just grab the golden seed and like, call it a day. But since I am going to upgrade this this weapon we picked up, it needs somber smithing stones. This is somber smithing stone 5. We're really going to try not to die, but if you die and you're holding runes, the monies, you will lose those. If you die and you're holding the items, you don't lose the items. So even if you just pick that up and get killed, not a big deal. We are going to fast travel from here into another kind of higher level zone from this location. Once we get out of combat, we're still, I guess, technically in combat. Ooh, shiny. Nice. But this is a somber smithing stone 5 that's just down here in this little canyon. So from here on our map, we're going to jump over to the far north, I do believe, to the lakes. Oh, no, I forgot something here. Okay, the round table hold. Before I completely forget, we do need to upgrade our flask. It's worth doing just so we don't like forget it's a thing. So now we have 8 total flasks, which feels pretty good. I'm going to show you quick just a little bit about the upgrading. So you don't have to do this. You're going to have a lot more runes left over if you don't upgrade this. I am going to upgrade this curved great sword on our back. We're going to quick strengthen armament. And you can see it uses the somber smithing stone. So we have one, so we used one. We don't have the money, but we can use the gold runes in order to get more money. So we're going to select use or use a number of them and juice ourselves up a little bit here so we can afford the upgrade. Just wanted to show you how you could do that once, but back to the map, all the way to the north, the lake-facing cliffs Site of Grace. We're going to follow the road. That's it. We're just going to follow the road down. Nothing tricky here. Kind of relaxing after, like, surviving the swamp and the stabby boys and the magic balls and the undead guys and, the little fort. We're coming up on... I'm gonna call it a swamp, might not be, but I get super lost in this zone a lot. So again, there's a way to like do this in one big fluid run. We're gonna go from Site of Grace to Site of Grace because that works for me, but it's gonna take us a little longer through here than it might otherwise. But I feel like we're keeping a pretty good pace for beginner guide, right? Listen, here's a Site of Grace and a merchant. This merchant sells one of my favorite items in the game, which is a lantern. Yay! So the lantern you can clip onto your waist and light up dark rooms, which is just nice. I tend to clip it next to my horse, so I clip it onto the pouch. It is a little expensive. I'm not going to buy it right now, but you definitely can buy this lantern. It's nice because it illuminates our surroundings. From the Site of Grace, we're going to go into the swamp probably like 10 times. First, we're going to grab one of, I think, 3 map fragments you need for this zone. We're only going to grab 2 of them. We probably should be sprinting. I forget about the sprinting mechanic. There's these little, like, jumpy boys here. They're hard to see, so we're going to kind of loop around and try and grab it. Hopefully we get the button prompt. No prompt. We weren't quite close enough. You could just grab it. I don't know if they'll one-hit kill you, but I don't really want to take a hit too much here from them because I have no armor. From the same Site of Grace we were just at with the Lantern Merchant, we're going to run back in. Just to line ourselves up here, because sometimes I get a little turned around when I'm, circling. Straight ahead of us here is this map pillar here, okay? We're going to just continue past it because we just picked up the map and make our way to the next Site of Grace. You could have just run here from before, but it just lines things up for me. We're going to run towards the next Site of Grace, a little further into, it's a swamp to me. I mean, it's not a poison swamp or a sleep swamp or a blight, lake or whatever, but it is tricky terrain, I feel like. Site of Grace, check mark. Okay, safe. Ooh, okay. From this Site of Grace, we're going to use another portal. We've used one before. We're going to use another one here. This one is just kind of straight. You can see our compass. We're heading a little west, a little north, and we're just looking for a portal here on the left. We want to be a little quick as we come through here, as some mean dudes are going to spawn in who we're not going to talk to. They want our body in a way we're not going to give it to them. So try and get through that. This is going to take us to the Liurnia of the lakes right outside of a giant locked door, which we're going to go and get the key for. Isn't that nice? Touch Grace, and let's keep it moving. Before we get the key, we're going to pick up an optional buff just so we've seen one of these because I think they're kind of fun. Here's the trick. Run past the trees. This little like break in the you're gonna mess this up the first time, but just double jump here and it's that easy. I made it look easy because it is. And once you do it like once, you can probably do it again. But until you get it once, it's a little tricky. Just jump that gap. It just makes sense. Because this gives us a really straight line west, and then we'll end up going a little left to kill something tricky. It's not tricky because it's going to fight back. It's not a combat zone. It just runs away. But it's going to give us a incantation, which I think is kind of fun. It's the Blood Flame Blade incantation. It will require 12 faith to use. So if you're not going to have 12 faith, or you're not interested in this incantation, don't worry about it. Not a big deal, but I'm going to show you where it is and how to get it. It's going to add a little bit of fire damage and bonus bleed damage to whatever weapon you can use it on. Most weapons that have a somber smithing stone, this is the one right here. It's super tricky to figure this out, but most weapons that have somber smithing stones, you can't actually buff the same way as the other items. This is one of the few somber smithing stone items that you can still, all the way here in 2024, month of, the DLC dropping here, you can still buff this Bloodhound weapon with that Blood Flame Blade incantation, whatever it's called. I'll show you how to use incantations later. Bottom line, you don't have to get it if you don't want it, but it's here and it is a little bit more power for very little effort. We're gonna go get the key to this locked door next. Like I said at the start, and a few times throughout, mostly this guide is just opening up the world, giving you options. And that Blood Flame Blade incantation, 12 faith is a pretty low faith requirement for a perk like that. And it's not, definitively the best in the game. It's not super busted, but it's definitely a bonus, right? It's a little more damage, not at much expense to you. So something to consider with your build, assuming you can use that. We're going to, like I said, open the world up a little bit. There's a dragon here. We're going to try not to fight. If you take a bad angle, he wakes up. Maybe this will get patched at some point, but I doubt it. If you just kind of finagle this edge here on this little pillar, we're going to jump up. The dragon doesn't seem to mind. I don't know exactly why, but he's a little sleepy boy, So we just run up this edge here, and then we're going to grab the key off this person here. I'm going to panic and fast travel after if I can, because I don't want the dragon to eat me. And got it. We got the key. But you don't have to do this. You could keep running just kind of northwest. But we're just going to reset ourselves to this site of grace again. And just nail this jump again. It really is not a hard jump once you kind of figure out that first angle. And we're going to head basically again just straight west into the north. We could have done this in one continuous loop, but I get super lost in the fog. And I have a much easier time having like a stable starting point. Because visibility is low and everything kind of looks the same to me. It's probably a personal problem, a skill issue, whatever. Bottom line, we're just running kind of west. Okay, keep your eye on your compass, run it west. It's a big open zone. There's not a lot of enemies. This is a pretty like safe route through, as we've basically had what, 0 combat, maybe a little around the map marker if we got unlucky. Ooh, almost there. Just across the way here, we're going to start seeing some land and some of these big like I don't know what they are. I think they're called land octopuses. I don't really get it, but they're kind of tentacly spooky things. We're going to just turn this corner here, and we're on land. How about that? We just kind of kept running west and a little north. There's an Erd tree on the left, so you know there's more cracked tiers if you want to find them. And then it's kind of a long run. Maybe one of the longest runs on the way here. There are like little things throughout here we're kind of just running by. They're just not super pertinent, but they might be worth exploring. For example, that Erd tree we ran by. And some other stuff I'll try and kind of point out as we go. But this is just a long open section of just scenic countryside. So those are the facts. On the left here are these singing boys. Someone has translated these. I don't quite know what they're saying, but don't let them fool you. They will kill you. Straight ahead of us and to the right is I think it's called the 4 Belfries, but that's kind of a fun location, has a couple of little portals around it. And over here on the left, we're looking for some angry jellies. Some red jellyfish. If we can find these red jellyfish, we are on the right track. Here's the site of grace. There's actually a fork in the road here. We're taking the left fork. I know it's not like, to me, it's not super obvious, but if you turn right and go up the hill, that's a different location, which is kind of fun, but we're going to the left. See these red jellies. They are actually guarding a jellyfish shield, which is a fun item to grab. We're going to try and grab it. You don't have to. I'm not even using a shield. I'm two-handing a big sword, but we're going to try and grab it, and we missed. Awesome. Oh, man. Okay, try again, and got it. This is jellyfish shield. And we're out of here. We're going to keep running. You remember our friend the Wolfman who we helped out? After we helped him out in the Evergrowl, he said, hey, if you meet a big boy smithy man, you might have a reward for you. That's actually what we're going to go grab right now. We're going to go all the way to EG, which again opens up the map. EG is a smith. If you're a fan of the developers FromSoft, if you're a fan of the FromSoft games, they every once in a while have a giant smith who's kind of fun, just for a little change of pace. So we're not fighting anybody, just running by. On our right there is more swamp. We could have stayed in the swamp the whole way, but that's just swamp. Like, why would we? Okay, we're almost there. We're like 75% of the way done with this run. There's one more fast travel point, and there's an illusionary wall coming up. If you hit the wall, you'll be able to go through it. You have to hit it, I think, with a weapon or something. So it can be a little tricky, so it's definitely worth grabbing this fast travel point. Right now, we have 8 plus 6 flasks, and we're going to grab the map fragment. This is the second of third for this zone, which is always nice. And we're coming up on the illusionary wall. It's straight ahead of us. You can jump around it, I think, from both sides, or you can go straight through it. We're going to go straight through it. It has to be hit first, so we have our weapon out. Thankfully, the mage is going to smack it for us. Here's a fast travel point where we're going to touch grace and rest at grace, just to de-aggro those enemies if we can. And we'll talk to EG. Remember, exhaust the dialogue. Specifically, this is a merchant who sells somber smithing stones, but because we helped out our Wolfman, as long as we go through the proper dialogue, which remember, he's got a secret menu, right? Blad sent me. He has another item that otherwise is locked behind a quest. So here it is. It lowers the FP consumed from a skill. Kind of a fun item, little niche item. Don't have to buy it. It's kind of expensive at 5,000, which we have the runes for right now, but we're going to go past it for now. We're on the way to pick up another somber smithing stone so we can upgrade our item. We're going to get a total of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 somber smithing stones on this item to get the weapon to +5. Somber items generally currently with just the base game go to +10. So are you going to be overpowered? No, you have 5 more levels to go. But a +5 somber weapon this early in, you know, just a handful of minutes is a really good place to be if you're interested in this weapon. If you're not, then don't do this whole run here. It's not super far. There's no combat. It's just here. We go pick it up. There's a somber smithing stone +4. It's nice. We're only missing 1 somber smithing stone. We're going to fast travel back to the South Rhea Lucario gate. And we're going to, this time, use the key we picked up from behind the dragon and go inside Rhea Lucario. So we've actually opened up a lot of areas. It's not immediately obvious to you that we've done, but this is its own kind of like hidden area. This whole, it's a big kind of castle academy place, but you now have the key to it, right? Which is nice. We're not going to bust it wide open, but we are going to run down this bridge here. And at the end, there's going to be a golden seed. So areas we've opened up. North of EG, the big giant smith, there's a whole kind of cool zone up there. This place here, we're going to go into and grab 2 items from. Then we're going to leave. We're not going to explore the whole thing. Not going to spoil it. We also got into Khalid, the swamp, kind of the red zone, the rot. And we picked up, half of the Dectus medallion. All right, fast travel back to the gate entrance. And we're going to go inside. We're going to pick up 2 items. This is going to be a somber smithing stone 3. It is the last somber smithing stone we need. We have somber smithing stone 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 at this point as we pick up 3. So if you have a different weapon that uses somber smithing stones, you're going to be able to get it the +5, which is a nice place to be. And we're going to make our way inside. I completely forgot that sprinting is a mechanic as I tend to do. So I'm just kind of walking. Remember I said you could probably do this run a lot faster if you just sprint. I really meant it. Whoops. But there's some meanie boys here, so be careful. Remember, when you're opening doors, it is an iframe. I for invincibility, meaning you cannot be hurt. Once you get in the animation, they're going to try and beat us down. But in this animation of opening doors, it is an iframe. You're invincible. But the second this animation is over, they can beat you senseless. Run. Okay? You might die there a time or two. It happens to the best of us. I just did my best and was fortunate enough to get through. Here's the Somber Smithing Stone 3. We're going to loop around and pick up the Site of Grace so we don't ever have to do this run again, because it can be a little bit of a nightmare, as it is a little kind of scary when they're trying to beat you down. Oh gosh, they want my body. Please no. We'll just reset. So, running north from this Site of Grace, there's some really spooky boys in here. The only thing we're doing is going to pick up a free set of armor and a gold rune. So just take your time, okay? You don't want to not sprint, but you don't want to run out of stamina at a bad time. You can kind of follow, see how I'm managing my stamina here. I've got plenty of stamina to like roll and run. And I kind of slow down on this bridge again. This is deliberate through this section that I am not sprinting everything. We're going to sprint this next little zone here. We do want to be careful and hug the right wall. We're going to hug the right wall. See those like arrows or darts they threw at us? We're going to jump this ledge. No fall damage here. It's not too long of a jump. Ignore these guys. Just pick up the free armor. Nice. Run! Oh man, he's after us. We're just gonna dip around the corner here. Sprint, sprint, sprint. Just to sprint and run is just long press the dodge button, right? Just hold it down, and there's a gold rune, and we're out of here. That's all we want from this location. We're happy. We got a gold rune, somber smithing stone, and a full set of armor. We now have this free armor. I think it looks pretty good, pretty nice, pretty okay. There's other, better armors you could find, but this one's free, not hard to get to, and as a new player, you're going to learn about that there's this whole academy here that's super secret and locked, and now you at least have the door unlocked. But you've got to explore it and see what it has for you. We're going to keep the armor set on for now, so we have a little armor. It is nice to get your poise above 51 if you can, but in this armor set is medium, so it doesn't quite do that, but we would like that if possible. So we're going to then fast travel back to the main academy gate entrance where we just were, and turn around. See this blue sigil seal here? This is a teleporter. You stop in front of it and interact with it. That's going to run you north across the bridge. It's a teleporter, which is nice. So we're just going to cross right here into the highway, literally just up the hill from where we were. We're going to grab a fast travel point, and then we're going to run north. This next thing we're going to do is I'm going to get you the fast travel point for where the Dectus medallion is, okay? Don't go up the lift. It's like a big, elevator, escalator, lift thing. Don't go up the lift. It will change the world around you. If you want to, you can. There's more items you can run around and pick up like we've been doing, but that would add, you know, another hour to this video. And more importantly, it changes the world in a major way. There's some quests and some interactions with various NPCs that once you go up the lift, you can no longer do. Notice we're just running north. We're just running north to get to this church because there's one more sacred tier that I think is worth grabbing here. And it is nice to, you know, at some point in the main story, it's going to say, hey, go up the lift or whatever. Like, I mean, the story's never quite that black and white, you know, but it will tell you, hey, we should go, you know, kind of in a direction, wink, and you're going to need to go find those medallion pieces and find where the lift is. Here's the sacred tier we're here for. I've done the heavy lifting here. You're going to have the fast travel point for the lift, and you're going to have the lift to make sure to use your sacred tier. So now we have 8 plus 7 flasks. We're going northeast here. There's a road to our right we're completely ignoring. It's heavily fortified and defended. We're just running adjacent. We're right next to the road, perpendicular, just running alongside it, kind of in the grass here, because it's fortified. It's got catapults and trebuchets and flamethrowers and spear boys. All there is over here is a mosquito. Look at that. There's the mosquito. If we can not get killed by the mosquito and the sheep, we're fine. So this is the road to the. Oh boy! No! I thought they were gonna kill me. I'm like clenching here. Okay. Up these stairs is the Dectus lift. Don't do this. You can go up here, yes, but it will change the world around you. Do it at your own risk, okay? More importantly, like I've just been saying, just to emphasize it, you now have this fast travel point, and so when you do get to the part in your journey where it's like, hey, you should go pick up 2 secret hidden medallions, then go up this lift, you already have the medallions, as we've picked both halves up already, and you have the fast travel point, which is right here around the corner, and you know where the lift is. This is something I wish I had done on my first journey, because I definitely spent kind of oodles of time doing this, but just to show you how it works, you go here, and there's going to be a button prompt right here, and then you just hoist it, which is, again, that medallion we picked up the 2 pieces of already. So now you know how to do it, as there's that secret little button prompt. Won't tell you how long that took me to find. There's one other item we're going to go pick up. Let's do a little bit of a recap on the way here. This is a hard run to do, so eyes open for the eyeball of Sauron or whatever. We have a free set of pretty sweet armor. We have our flask of wondrous physics. We have at least 3 different spear dashes. Okay, check this out. Here comes the eyeball. Okay, it's gonna like make us go crazy and deal damage to us. You can kind of hide from it, and it kind of like pulses. So it's off, and it's coming on in a second here. And if you can't see it, you start to glow. Your health starts to go down. In the middle of the screen, your crazy bar builds up. I think it's called madness. But if you find like a blind spot, which is, it's a pun but quite serious, you can just kind of hang. You can kind of chill out and just let it slow down on you. It will happen. So here's a blind spot, so eventually it will slowly go down because it can't quite see us here for reasons that I don't quite understand. But there is a fast travel point here that we are going to grab. Listen, we have 7 flasks at +7. Feels pretty good. In addition, currently I think we get 1 more. We have our our flask of physics. Okay, we also have a somber weapon. We can get the +5. We have a buff we can put on that weapon. We've got a full set of armor. We have 3 different spirit summons. We have fast travel points in the Lake of Liurnia. We have fast travel points going towards the Academy. We have fast travel points getting us to the Lift of Dectus. We have fast travel points in the swamps of Caelid and around Limgrave as well. We have a lot of just really good opening up. We've met the Round Table Hold. We've set up the smithing, and we've set up the Spirit Tuner so we can upgrade our Spirit Ashes. We're going to get dismounted here. That means an NPC, right, a computer-based invader is going to attack. It's scripted, and the eyeball can see us, so be very careful. It actually does big damage, so be sure to heal and keep running. We're not fighting this guy. Even if you're offline, this is an NPC. This is a scripted, computer-generated... Whoop, gotcha. Okay, he's going to kill us. Oh, man. Now, just run past him, okay? And you can pick up another sacred tier here. I think if you kill him, there's a site of grace here. I'm not exactly sure. Oh, boy. he really wants us, and we're just not going to give it to him. We do not need him in our life. He's very dangerous, and we are incredibly underpowered for him, and my skill level is minimal. So we have easily more than 20,000 runes. I've spent quite a few of them at this point, but just to show just how many we should have roughly, even having spent more than 5,000, we're looking at like 16,000. I'm going to show you how the incantation works, since we did pick up an incantation. Remember I said earlier, we go over to the little ladies over here. We're going to buy that finger seal. You can upgrade the finger seal at your smithy to increase the power of your incantations. Mental note. Okay, so we're going to purchase the finger seal here. Then we're going to go to a site of grace. We're going to memorize a spell. We're going to select the spell we want. That's going to put this incantation onto this top part of our equipment, but we can't use it. We need to equip on our shield slot here, this left-hand slot, the finger seal we just bought, okay? Then we're going to be able to use it in a combat zone. And you can see our left hand actually glows as we have the finger seal equipped. So here it is. It looks cool. Big old blood flame blade. It actually applies a little bit of fire damage and a little bit of bleed damage as well. There's one last thing we're going to do. We're going to spend the runes we've got. I don't have a whole lot of runes. There's definitely ways to get more. We're going to get our Bloodhound Fang sword to +5. That's going to be where we end up here. You've seen every item we've picked up. It is time to see if we're, you know, moderately competent. We're at the Stormhill Shack. Okay, we have our Bloodhound Flame. We have our Flask of Wondrous Physic with a health boost and a stamina boost. We have our Blood Flame Blade buff. We can put onto our Blood Fangs, you know, weapon. It's a +5 weapon. I recommend mostly putting stat points into health. If you get the 40 health, then think about other stats. It's a good stat point right there. So we are going to challenge the boss. That's the big plan here. We don't need to beat the boss. You don't need to beat the boss. This is my end stat line. As you can see, it's kind of a dumpster fire of nothing. We have pretty much nothing going on. We'll touch Grace, and this is just a great opening boss. Like I said earlier, maybe you've seen your favorite streamers suffer against this boss. Hey, what are you doing? All right, I'm just going to have to give it to him. You want some of this? You're going to get it. It's over, man. I've been like holding back all video. There you go. Eat some of that. Who's next? Anyone? Huh? Anyone? We have 8 + 8 flasks, so I'm feeling really confident that that's quite a lot of flasks. I think at most it goes to +12, and you can have, I think, maybe 12 flasks, but we're going to go ahead and use the summon sign here as well, as we have no intention of going easy on this boss. Like I said before, you've maybe seen your favorite streamer, you know, do something that is very entertaining but makes no realistic sense. This is just easy mode. Okay, we're going to summon in the summon guy. We're going to throw down our spirit summons. We have plenty of health potions for this fight at 8 + 8. We've buffed up our weapon. We're going to, you know, walk in and open up with our spirit summon. Just keep walking forward. There's a little bit of a cutscene I'm not going to spoil, and the big boss is going to show up. By the way, you can actually progress the entire game without fighting this boss here. You can skip. This whole area is optional. Isn't that crazy? I'm not going to tell you how because it's a spoiler, but bottom line, I'm not the best, but I think I'm going to be able to get it done here with very mediocre play, as we have a lot of items to be successful. You're not overpowered, but the map has really been opened up. Do me a favor, if you like this video, click like. YouTube channel members to support what I do. I'm Vadd, and I really hope this helped you as a new player in Elden Ring. I think this is a great way as how to get started if you've been struggling. Maybe you've been running around just getting your butt kicked. We've picked up a lot of good items that are really going to help you out. We've not only picked up a lot of good items to help you out, we've opened up the map. You've got a lot of good fast travel points to really just exercise your agency as a player. I'm Vadd. I'll see you in the next one. Until then, bye for now.